Emily the Criminal opens in theaters today. It stars Aubrey Plaza as a young woman who is just trying to work off her student loans. And she's doing grunt work, delivering food. She's just a food delivery person. She does little odd jobs here and there on the side, but she can barely make ends meet with paying off her student loans and just basically making rent. Yeah. She decides.
Let's also add that she's a felon.
Right.
She has a felony conviction, which also makes it more difficult.
Yeah, she has a felony conviction, so she's going to job interviews, but the felony conviction always comes up, and people in these job interviews, they're going like, well, you got a felony conviction on your record, so she can't even get a decent job, a decent paying job to be able to address her student loans. She finally gets desperate, and she has an opportunity to make $200 doing something quick. It's a quick job. She goes in, she gets this sort of instruction, right? You're going to go in. If you want to do this, it's a really good speech. I forget the actor's name, but he gives this speech where he's like, okay, this is real simple. You're going to walk in, you go and you buy this television with this credit card we're going to give you, and then you meet us in the parking lot, and that's it. It's 20 minutes, and you'll get $200 cash.
It's Theo Rossi, by the way.
Basically, what you're doing is you're going in using a fake credit card to purchase an expensive television, then meeting this crime ring in the parking lot, and they take the television. It's a fake credit card. You get $200. They get the TV. Simple job. Well, these jobs begin to escalate and become increasingly dangerous. This isn't one of those, typical like female empowerment movies where it's a turnoff. She gets her ass kicked. She gets beaten. She gets it's actually, and what's interesting about this, I love Aubrey Plaza as an actress. She's just, my problem with her is pretty much in anything she's in, she's Aubrey Plaza. So like Parks and Rec, she's Aubrey Plaza. She'll play another character in a TV show or a movie. She's that sort of awkward, there's sort of just comedy.
Smart aleck, smart aleck tone to her.
Yeah, smarmy, smart aleck. This is none of that. Zero. She literally has like this Jersey accent. She's not, there's not a lot of humor in this movie at all. And it's gritty, it's dark. And what I really liked about it was, this is the kind of movie they need to make, starring, if they want to have like a female lead. This is the movie to make, because she like barely survives all these different, she finds that like you're working in a world of crime, you're going to get your freaking ass kicked. She gets robbed and beaten and taken advantage of in horrific ways. And it's about her struggle to just sort of get ahead of this game that she's almost been forced into a life of crime because she can't get a decent job. Even though she has a degree, she made a mistake. She got this, this felony conviction on her record. And now she's just gonna make some easy money on the side. And each escalation of each job gets more and more dangerous. And it's not like, hey, she wins or she doesn't. What I do like is there are some fight scenes with her. Yeah. She's a frail girl. It goes exactly how you would think. You got a 250-pound thug going against, 120-pound Aubrey Plaza, or maybe less. I don't know how much she weighs. Is that an insult? I don't know.
What, for giving her weight?
I don't know what her weight is. She's, whatever.
She's small.
Yeah, she's small and frail woman, and that comes across. She doesn't win a lot of these confrontations, and she has to use she finally figures out she has to use her smarts, a different sort of, because she's not going to win when it comes to physical competition. And even then, she can be taken advantage of. I thought this was really good, different take on like an indie thriller. Aubrey Plaza is really good in it because she basically decided not to be the type of person that she normally is. And it's in theaters today in limited release. I really enjoyed this film, and I enjoyed it because it just broke that like women can do anything. It's like, no, they're going to get the shit kicked out of them just like the men. No, they're going to be taken advantage of and fucked with. No, they're going to lose. No, they're going to have bad things happen to them. you go into a life of crime like this, it's no easier. And there's a scene where she goes in basically to buy a car with basically a check. She's got like this cashier's check, and then she's going to put the rest on like an American Express black card, which is the highest level card you can get, is the black card. Okay. So she goes in, and it's just, that scene is so gut-wrenching, intense. This whole tension, like, will she be found out? What are the repercussions? What's going to happen? Like, and it just, what a cool, I mean, if you like crime thrillers that are great, this is really good. Alan, what did you think of Emily the Criminal?
Yeah, no, I really like this movie. And you brought up the main reason, Aubrey Plaza. You know, she is not playing herself or her type on television, but she's probably playing a much different version of herself. And it's very dramatic. But, you know, there are two aspects that I really liked about this movie. The first is just the idea, the theme of it, of, you know, this life of crime that you can get yourself sucked into. And, you know, it's like once you enter that door, fight as hard as you might, you're just going to go down and down, deeper and deeper into that rabbit hole. And that's what this movie's about. And then you also brought up the other point I like about it. You know, she doesn't necessarily do, you know, you say that she gets beaten or she loses. She really doesn't. You know, there are points where it looks like she's going to lose. She's going to lose this fight. But she finds a way to do it, and in a way that her character could plausibly do it. And you know, I hate to say it, but I will because it's true. But she doesn't take necessarily the masculine role to get herself out of these jams. She does, you know, what women do when they're in that position, and when they have, you know, when they're built basically like Aubrey Plaza. And there's a point at the end where she does sort of man up, and I do like the way that plays out ultimately in the end. And so I just found this movie fascinating. In fact, I think I like this. I kept thinking about Uncut Gems in its style and the way it looks, and I do like this much better than Uncut Gems.
Yeah, I really like this film. What she doesn't do, which is what I have found some women do in real life. And it's almost like it's in real life. I have seen people use this as a manipulation tool. It's like a smart bomb in a video game. You know, when you're playing a shooter video game, and there are just way too many enemies on screen. And so you've got like one smart bomb, you press the button and the smart bomb blows up all the enemies. And then just, you know, it gets you into a safe place.
Or worse, she powers up. She never powers up. Yep. You know, she's sitting there waiting for the energy to build, and then boom. No, she never does that either.
But the real life version of that is when a woman cries. This is a very sexist thing for me to say, and I'm aware that I'm saying it. But when a woman will cry, it's just like, well, then that's like a smart bomb in a video game. It's like, well, it's a tool, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying this is a horrible thing. Feel free to roast me in the chat or clip this to talk about what an awful person I am. But this is definitely, I've seen it used as a manipulation tool in perhaps a bad relationship from the past, is all I'll say, is that I believe that crying can be used as a defense mechanism, as a smart bomb. It's a smart bomb. What do we call that? We need to come up with a name for this. People in the chat, what's a good name for the smart bomb, which is crime? I'm sure it can be used by men too. My guess is, you know. But anyways, but
I'll say this.
Sure.
You know, I don't think you could ever say in this entire movie that her character was a victim, you know, or that she was playing against that victim card. You know, she was a woman who was put in a position where she had to fight her way out in order to find some kind of freedom in her life. But she never felt bad for herself, sorry for herself. She just had a goal. She knew where she wanted to go, and she went for it.
And what I like is there's also like sort of this running thread of her going to job interviews to try and like level herself up. And she finally pushes back in these job interviews. And it's a great scene because it's like, it's awesome. So let's see. So look, I recommend Emily the Criminal. And I think Uncut Gems is a really good. I liked Uncut Gems better, a little better, but than this. But it's in that realm of like small time criminal just trying to make a life. And you would think because it's a female lead that they're gonna go a certain way, and they do not. It's gritty. It's and yeah, she gets her ass kicked, and she loses a lot in this. But
I don't know if she looks like she's gonna lose, but then she finds a way to win in the end.
Well, some of the time, not all the time.
Maybe one occasion that was true.
All right, Alan. Let's go to the comments here real quick. Pop says tear bomb. John Witchboy says cry op. Ooh, that's good. Zach McCarthy says a heart bomb. Yeah, it's you could say that. Want Biscuit says true, Alan. So many people are born into poverty and crime, incredibly tough to break free from and overcome, not without deep scars. Yeah, and Want Biscuits goes on to say, does she get stabbed in the chest with a lightsaber and still live? That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. That was Kylo Ren. Patrick Lemire, she doesn't get caught in a bear trap and escape even without even a limp. Yeah, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, she gets beat up pretty bad though. Yeah.
Anana Mouse says, sounds like it might be worth watching. It is worth watching.
Yeah.
It's actually in theaters now, but I assume because it's in India, it'll be VOD soon.
Well, I mean, like with Dragon Ball Z, there's such a void and a vacuum in movies right now that a lot of these indies and foreign films and anime and whatever, they're flooding the theaters right now.
Who doesn't love Aubrey Plaza, says Scott Slaughterbeck. I would recommend a podcast. Mark Maron did an episode of his show. I don't really listen to him anymore, but back in the day, he had these sort of long form conversations with, I assume he probably still does it. He did this interview with Aubrey Plaza, and it's fascinating. She went through her whole life and kind of like why she is kind of the way she is. She had a stroke when she was young, like in her early 20s. She had a stroke and it just changed her life. Kind of like when George Lucas got in this, this car accident where he, by all accounts, should have died. And George Lucas was just kind of didn't know what he was going to do with his life, kind of a loser. And he changed his life after this car accident. And Aubrey Plaza had this, she had a stroke. That's something you mostly associate with, senior citizens, older people have strokes. She had one when she was young, and it just changed everything about her. And you should listen to that Mark Maron podcast about where Aubrey Plaza talks about her life. Really interesting story. Aubrey Plaza sounds like a college campus building, says MK Solid 82. Scud X says, what? Wait, is this a Safdie movie or are there just tonal parallels? It's just tonal parallels.
Yeah,
I would say. Yeah, definitely tonal parallels.
I mean, it's one of those stories of things get worse before they get better, and it gets brutal along the way.
It gets brutal. Exactly. Lubitsch Touched Me is a member. Thank you for that. The Uncut Gems comparison just completely turned me off since I hated that movie. That's all right. To each his own. But, imagine that, but with a woman. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. Ignore that I just said that.
Oh, wow.
CD Stein 69. My son washed dishes at our local Chinese restaurant and said they made totally different food for the employees going on break than they served to the people coming in to eat it. Is that true, Alan?
My family, we went to Hawaii for vacation. We went to a Chinese restaurant, and let's just say we had the greatest meal ever, and none of those items were on the menu.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because
apparently they don't get a lot of Chinese people in that Chinese restaurant.
There you go. Not the Batman says, so based on Aubrey Plaza's real life? I don't know. Does she have a felony conviction? She might. I don't know. Interesting. But I would recommend Emily the Criminal. It is in theaters. If you are a AMC Stubs member, as I am, I can see 3 movies a week. I feel it's a very good value. What I found out recently, the pricing is different in different parts of the country. In California, A-list is $25 a month. In other parts of the country, it's cheaper.
I don't want to hear
like that. Everything.
I don't want to hear that.
California.
Ugh.
All right. MK Solid 82 says, I saw Alan swap suitcases with a Disney executive. Interesting.
I don't know that was me.
Alan, give me a break.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Was it you? Wait a sec, Alan. Is this you? I've got to find this. Wait.
You got to have these queued up better.
I got to have... Anyways, all right. Well, let's switch gears here. Thank you for all of your great comments here. Yeah, the secret Chinese menu is real, says Bromide01. Really? I didn't know this.
Yeah, it's real.
Oh my God. How did I not know this? That's crazy.